One Christmas, we came down the stairs. We ran downstairs Christmas morning. Not a goddamn present under the tree.
Really? Somebody broke in. Santa didn't come.
There was no presents under the tree. There was 3 lumps of coal.
Whoa, you guys are bad boys.
My dad gave us all coal. No presents.
Wow.
We start crying.
Oh, no.
And then he goes, check the stockings. The stockings are plump full of stuff, and it's like an epic stocking stuffer with all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And then there's like $50 bill rolled up in there and all this other stuff. But still, at the end of it, I'm like, yeah, this still wasn't really like a Christmas though.
Yeah, it's all stocking stuff.
It's all stocking stuffers.
Yeah.
And then the grand prize was one $50 bill.
You can buy your own present.
Yeah, and he took us to Toys R Us, and I went and got Donkey Kong Country on N64 with $50. And I had to borrow $5 more to cover the tax.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were you guys bad boys, or was this just kind of just a little prank by your father?
It was a combination of a prank and them probably being strapped on.
Yeah, they had hard times. Yeah.
they were beset by hard times.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know what, Trent? We're going to hear about toys, Christmas toys, in this episode.
Well, Christmas is just around the corner. I feel like we'll have quite a few Christmas stories coming up in the coming weeks.
We probably will. Now,
should we explain, if this is your first time listening, this is called the Echo Chamber Podcast with Joe and Trent. This is Joe. I'm Trent. It's the only podcast where 2 comedians read the Wall Street Journal because one of us gets it for free.
From work.
Now,
we've both got a couple stories from the Wall Street Journal we're going to be reading today.
Yes, sir.
And teeing us off, we've got, this is a little headline from the Wall Street Journal. Toy companies are suffering from a case of holiday blahs.
Oh, my God.
The toys are out.
Oh, no.
No, coal for everybody.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's probably what people deserve.
Yeah, the toy companies are feeling the pinch.
Yeah. Now, should we rotate? Should we trade on and off?
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, I just dropped one. This from the Wall Street Journal. We're going to be covering. Are you angry on the job? Are you grumpy on the job? Well, you're not alone. a large part of the population has become grumpy on the job, and we'll be discussing that.
This seems hardly like breaking news. Does your job suck? Sometimes what they put in here is like, well, we're also going to hear about, Trent, a giant controversy sweeping a small community in Connecticut regarding leaf blowers. What one can only describe as to be the largest first world problem of all time.
Well, it is Connecticut.
A leaf blower fight royals home of world's most perfect lawns.
Wow. Now, that sounds interesting, Joe. Now, this is a little dark. This is not all fun and games on this podcast. Apparently, Instagram serves up a toxic video mix. So, pretty grim story coming up.
I haven't noticed. Well, on the lighter side, Trent, we're also going to hear about cursive. Cursive.
Oh, yes. I remember cursive.
Well, it's coming back.
Really?
What you may not know is that after we learned cursive, it went away.
Yes, yeah.
And they stopped teaching the kids. Well, now they're bringing it back, baby. They're restoring this country.
My prayers have been answered. And we'll also be, there's, you're familiar with Tinder, Bumble, Hinge.
Sure.
Well, there's more dating apps than ever. And some aren't specifically designed to be dating apps, but they're also, you can use them for dating apps.
I met my girlfriend on Facebook Marketplace.
Well, that's what some people are doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to kick us off here with a little story of the holiday woes. This is from the Wall Street Journal, Trent.
Sure.
As I said, toy companies are suffering from a case of the holiday blahs. Mm-hmm. Shoppers couldn't get enough toys and games during the pandemic. Now, they are finding other ways to spend their time, and that is spelling trouble for toy makers and sellers. A retrenchment on the most fun to give gifts sends a signal that Americans are starting to ease their spending more broadly as pandemic savings dwindle, the labor market softens, and shoppers worry about global events and still elevated inflation. This holiday season is off to a slow start for Wilding's Toys Boutique in Phoenix, which sells classic toys such as dollhouses and wooden cars and accessories.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. Update the inventory. Right? Oh, it's off to a slow start with the wooden toys. 1930 call.
Lincoln logs aren't exactly flying off the shelves.
Okay, they go, okay, this is weird.
Odd.
The store has been trying to drum up customer interest with experiences, including Santa visits, family photo shoots in front of a Christmas tree, backdrop outside the store. But, Trent, I mean, none of this is working. We got some ho-hum instead of ho-ho-ho this year.
Humbug.
Spending on services has grown roughly double the pace of good for the most of the year as consumers caught up on experiences such as concerts and trips to Europe. And of course, we touched on this on an early episode. People are going to see Lahaina before it's
the classic fuck it all approach.
Fuck it all approach. They're putting $10,000 on the credit card. And they're going to have a last-minute trip with the wife. Board the kids. Sorry, no toys this year. Your wife and I had to go see Greece before the Tower of Pisa fell over.
Before the afterworld was underwater. We got to get this in.
Yeah, we had to go see Florence before it sank. Yeah. Now, this is an owner of Building Blocks Toy Stores, which has 3 locations in Chicago.
Maybe blocks are out.
That's what everything they're referencing here is like a very extinct toy.
Right. Yeah. Like a fucking paper doll.
Yeah. Ornate trike maker. It's like, what are we doing here?
Now, maybe it covers this, but I when I was a kid, I loved a nice action figure.
Yeah.
A toy. I feel like that's not in vogue anymore. It's all, I hate to say this, it's all video games and electronics, the newest gadgets.
Well, we're sort of living in the tech era.
The tech era.
Future, but I love an action figure too.
I like
maybe
something
a Hot
physical,
Wheel, Hot Wheel, little racetrack.
Yeah.
You slide it down, it flies off, it hits the dog in the fucking head.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Pokes your brother's eye out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the owner of Building Blocks Toy Stores, which has 3 locations in Chicago, is seeing an exception. Shoppers can't wait to get their hands on toys they can squeeze, such as Bitsy Digital Pet and Squishable Plush Toys. Quote, I don't have a store big enough to sell all the stuffed animals now in demand, she said.
Well, she should try squeezing them in.
She added that those toys are popular in part because they are geared towards social and emotional self-care as children navigate post-pandemic life.
Fucking Christ. What? Everything's the pandemic's fault.
They keep throwing the pandemic in here. But, no action figures this year.
I think the pandemic gets a bad rap.
Merry Christmas, honey. Here's your stress ball.
Yeah, but a while back they had the fidget spinner that really popped off during the pandemic, and they also had those pop things that you seen those?
No,
they're like rubber and they're like half a circle, and you pop them and they pop back up.
I haven't seen those ones, but it's all among the same category.
Yeah,
kids just want something to squeeze to relieve stress. Than playing. Yeah. So they're getting massage chairs, stress balls. They're getting So they're blowing off some steam. These kids are wound up.
They are wound up.
But I agree. I don't buy into this navigate post-pandemic life. How about social media is stressing everybody out?
That's the main thing. I think. Yeah.
Post-pandemic. I mean, what do you mean? They bounce back just fine.
Right.
Now.
They don't know any better. It's not like they grew up in the pandemic world. That's all they know.
Right.
They didn't have any, like us. We had a good 20, 25 years before we had to lock ourselves away to flatten the curve. To experience this godless hellscape.
Man, I'm just so proud that I locked myself away to flatten the curve.
Well, we did our part.
We flattened the curve.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, well, and they were locked in for 2 years, and toy spinning was at an all-time high. They were playing with everything: Hot Wheels, jigsaw puzzles, dinkies, Jimmy Crackers.
Yeah.
And now they go. The doors open, honey.
Yeah.
There's the outside world. What do you want for Christmas? A stress ball. Give me the stress ball.
Yeah.
Well, the owner of that store that I just mentioned, Building Blocks Chicago, remains optimistic about this holiday season. Quote, people don't cut out their children, unless you're my dad in 2002. She said, quote, even if they have job insecurity or worry about food costs, they still buy gifts for their children, she added, which is kind of a bleak optimism.
Yeah.
She goes, they'll fold. They'll come in.
They have to.
Even if they can't feed themselves at night, they have to get Trixie a bike.
Yeah. Even if it means missing a few meals.
Yeah. So the people at Hasbro, Mandel, they're shaking in their boots right now, Trent.
Wow. Well,
they're
we
seeing
pray
a
for
7% drop.
7%. Wow. That's no good.
Will they bounce back?
Well, I'm praying for them. I think we all are.
I think we all are.
Yeah, but people do have to work. And sometimes those people, those parents, I hope they don't take it out on their kids. And it sounds like from the owner of Building Blocks, they don't. But sometimes they take their stress on with them because people, they're angrier than ever. I don't know if you've noticed this. This is from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, okay.
Joe.
Wall Street Journal.
Headline. Grumpy on the job? You have company.
Job's absolute bullshit.
Bullshit. Americans, by many measures, are unhappier at work than they have been in years.
I don't know about that.
Well, despite wage increases, more paid time off, and greater control over where they work, the number of U.S. workers who said they are angry, stressed, and disengaged is climbing. According to Gallup's 2023 workplace
they tried
report.
Stress balls, squeezing plush toys they could squeeze.
That's probably a good idea for these people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a Bamboo HR analysis of data from more than 57,000 workers shows job satisfaction scores have fallen to their lowest point since early 2020 after a 10% drop this year alone.
Jesus. 10% this year?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Things are
Must
bleak.
be the inflation. People also ask, how are you liking your job more than they ever did? For 500 years, nobody
gave a shit.
No one gave a shit. It said, do your job.
Yeah.
That's why we're paying you money.
That is probably an issue. I also feel like that's with mental health. That's a thing as well. Because nobody talked about mental health until like 5 years ago.
Right. But now we're checking in. We're like, are you happy?
You check
at the
in.
job?
You're not supposed to check in.
You don't check in.
You bury it down deep inside.
Better to ask for forgiveness than...
Yeah. People chafe against being micromanaged back to offices.
Okay.
Yet they also find isolating aspects of hybrid and remote work. A cooling job market, especially in white-collar roles, is leaving many professionals feeling stuck.
Yeah.
Now, you work from home, Joe.
I do.
And you don't always like it.
No, I don't always like it because we were designed to have to go somewhere and then come back home. But when you don't go anywhere and you just stay home, you become like a little hamster on a wheel. Yeah. You lose your mind. You got to have plan. You got to fight against
people.
There's no one forcing you to get out of bed in the morning.
No. The experience of workers like Lindy Leaseman suggested how expectations have shifted. From just a few years ago, Leaseman, 38 years old, said she soured on a philanthropy job after having to return to the office 2 days a week.
Oh, give me a break. She soured on it.
As this lady 2 years ago, she had to go in Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Now she has to go in 2 days a week. She wants to put a bullet in her brain.
It is weird how now it's like if you work from home, you're miserable, and if they ask you to go back, you go, I'll go postal.
What are you, crazy?
What are you, crazy?
I have to do my job 2 days a week?
2 days a week?
Pre-pandemic, she would have been happy working 3 days a week at home.
Well, it's the pandemic's to blame for everything.
Yeah. Quote, it would have been a dream come true. Still, her team's in
went from a dream come true
to a waking nightmare.
I don't understand.
I don't know. Everyone's seemed to have lost their mind. Still, her team's in-office requirements seem like going backward and made her feel that her professionalism and work quality were in doubt. Instead of collaborating more, she and others rarely left their desks, except for meetings or lunch, she said. Negative feelings followed her home on her hour-long commute, leaving her short-tempered with her kids.
Jesus, lady.
Quote, you try to keep work and home separate, but that sort of stuff is just impacting your mental health so much, said Fleeceman, who recently moved to a new job that requires 5 in-office days a month.
Cry me a river.
Yeah,
man.
it's insane.
My grandpa had to become man of the farm at 14.
Yeah, these people would die.
And he had to wear a mask too, but it was for the fucking Dust Bowl. They had to blow the dust off the corn, take it into market. His dad's appendix blew up in a snowstorm, and they couldn't get him out of there. They couldn't mobilize the horses in the snowstorm.
Yeah, in a snowstorm, they had to fucking tie a rope from the house to the barn so they didn't lose their way in a blizzard.
Yeah, but I guess...
But she can't go into work 1 day a week.
Well, you got to go in 5 days. Could you imagine? You got to go in 5 days to your marketing assistant manager coordinator role.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, my grandpa had to rebuild his house and sow the field when he was 15.
My grandpa built his house by hand.
Built his house and a tornado blew it down, and he had to rebuild it. And they had to go to war.
But this woman goes to therapy 4 days a week, and she's kind of doing the work. So
yeah, she's doing the work. Yeah.
Long-distance relationships between bosses and staff might also be an issue. Nearly a third of workers at large firms don't work in the same metro area as their managers.
I don't.
Neither do I. Up from 23% in February 2020. Distance has weakened ties among coworkers and heightened conflict, said Moshe Cohen, a mediator and negotiation coach who teaches conflict resolution at Boston University's Questrom School of Business. He has noticed more employees calling coworkers or bosses toxic or impossible. Signs that trust is thin. That's also something new. I never heard anybody described as toxic.
Yeah.
Until a couple of years ago.
Well, I do think that the whole remote working thing is probably bad for everybody.
Yeah.
Because they've taken the any sense of community out of an office space. So even when you go in once a week, it's like dead there.
Right.
No one's talking,
Yeah.
It used to be people would go see how they're doing and like talk to each other. You got a boss you've never fucking met before. You're like, I don't know who this guy is in Cincinnati. I've never met him. There's no trust there. He's never taken you out for coffee or anything.
Right.
It's just some guy on a Zoom screen,
Yeah.
going drive the numbers up. And you go, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, well, you're you to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no good. It's something that needs to be done. But at Farmers Group, I don't know what that is.
Neither do I. But I can guarantee you it has nothing to do with the farm.
No, it has absolutely nothing to do with the farm. Yeah.
I don't know what Farmers Group is. It's nothing to do with the farm.
Workers posted thousands of mostly negative comments. Oh, it's an insurance company. Workers posted thousands of mostly negative comments on the insurer's internal social media platform after its new CEO nixed the company's previous policy allowing most workers to be remote. Employees like Candy. How could you? Candy, are you fucking crazy? You want us to do our job?
Yeah.
Candy Mamande said they felt betrayed.
Betrayed.
Quote,
God, it's so overdramatic.
We couldn't get the why, said the 43-year-old who had sold her car and spent thousands of dollars to redo her home office.
All during work hours.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I can't get why. Why does he want us back in?
I couldn't. Imagine selling your car. You believe that we're never going back. To work so much. You're like, I don't need this anymore.
All these people are idiots to think that there is some new. Even the toy companies were like, oh yeah, and all the subscription services
Yeah.
had a huge boom, and they're
Right.
like, oh, it's gonna be like this forever. This is the new normal. And then everyone goes back out. Now that we want to go to Europe, we want to go see U2
Yeah,
in Europe.
before it all comes crashing down.
Before it all comes crashing down, and they go, Jesus Christ.
Before we stare the Grim Reaper.
She's an idiot
Yeah,
for selling her
she's
car
a
to redo a
moron.
home office.
Yeah. A company spokesperson said that not all employees will support every business decision, and that Farmers hasn't seen a significant impact on staff retention. During a brief leave, Mamande realized she no longer felt a sense of purpose from her product management job. I wonder why. She resigned last month after she and her wife decided they could live on one salary.
Sorry.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sorry, did you say one salary?
Yeah, one salary. She now helps promote a band and pet sits. It's quote, it's so much easier for me to report to myself, she said.
Report to myself?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so much easier to watch a dog
and promote a band. Let's be really bringing in the income. Yeah, one salary indeed.
Who would have thought
Who would have thought doing hobbies
letting a dog
was
out
more
twice
fulfilling?
a day would be easier?
Well, see, we live in this world where people are muddling their hobbies with a job, and there's no sense of. They go, wait a minute. Why is it that I am way more fulfilled when I am using my tempera paints than when I'm in the office selling insurance? Mm-hmm. It must be because my manager's a prick. I'm going to promote a band. Do timber painting. Well, Trent, it's one of those classic the grass is always greener situations.
Sure.
Working from home, going to the office. We've seen both worlds,
Yes.
and we could never be satisfied. There's another place where the grass is always greener as well, my friend. And that is in the little town of Greenwich, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Because in Greenwich, Connecticut, well...
I believe it's not to be
you're
a
right.
douchebag. I would hate if somebody did this to me.
Yeah, Greenwich.
Yes.
But is that just in New York, or are some places actually called Greenwich?
Well, that is a good question, but I do believe it's Greenwich, Connecticut.
You're familiar.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm an idiot. I just thought we're talking about lawns. Maybe it was Greenwich.
No, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I'm a fucking moron.
I just didn't want the listeners
damn it, dude.
to
I knew I wasn't ready to have a podcast.
I'd rather you hear it from somebody you know.
Somebody I trust.
Yeah.
Instead of some prick manager in Cincinnati who I don't know. Well, in posh Greenwich, Connecticut, residents fight the noise, quote, these hideous machines. Leaf blower fight Royals home of world's most perfect lawns. Well, Greenwich, Connecticut, home to some of America's most perfect lawns, finally blow off noisy leaf blowers.
Wow.
Some who live there are pleading for peace.
Please.
And this is Katy Perry level plight here. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what these people are going through. Quote, the roar is inescapable. Longtime resident Monica Prianda said at a recent town meeting, imitating a motor with her voice. Even the storm windows do not protect me.
Oh,
Please,
God
she implored
almighty.
local officials. I beg you. More than 100 cities nationwide, including some near Greenwich, restrict loud leaf blowers. But the tiny New York's, tiny? But the tiny New York City suburb that is home to billionaires and hedge funds has long refused to turn over a new leaf. Town leaders decades ago exempted gas-powered blowers from Greenwich's noise ordinance. Now a coalition of residents called, quote, Quiet Yards Greenwich is being anything but quiet. Ranking through reams of documents and citing a case from the 17th century about a neighbor's pigsty, they are pushing for seasonal limit on gas-powered leaf blowers and urging electronic ones instead.
Oh.
The uprising against blaring blowers is years in the making. The wealthy community's anti-leaf blower movement started in the 1990s with the formation of a group called Project Quiet Yards. And if you might be thinking this sounds incredibly dramatic for yards, well, it's actually completely deserved.
It's actually not.
It's actually not even a little bit overdramatic. Yeah.
Wow.
Dick.
So when you were living, obviously we don't have a yard here. We have a kind of a courtyard that we're not allowed to walk on, but
That's true.
That's another story.
Right.
When you were living in Kansas City, did you have a yard?
A couple times, yeah. So actually, one house that I lived in with my brother Tim, friend of the show, welcome anytime.
Sure, welcome anytime.
And my friend John Mark, friend of the show, welcome anytime. We had a little front yard, we had a little backyard, and it was in kind of like a nice neighborhood. It was in Midtown, but there was like old houses, families there, and everybody on our street. I mean, we had a guy out there with scissors cutting his lawn. Everybody built like the same little, portico thing to match. They wanted them all to match. We were the black sheep on the yard.
Yeah.
We were 25. There's more Miller Lite cans in our yard than there was there was hedges.
Right.
We didn't mow it. We mowed it. We never mowed it.
Yeah.
And we drove our neighbor crazy.
Yeah.
This guy, we went out to like lunch something one morning. We woke up at noon. We dusted off some beer cans. We went to lunch. We come back. He's mowing our lawn.
Oh,
he's mowing our lawn. And we go, hey, man. And he goes, tomorrow's the garden party.
And what did you say?
We go, we didn't know there was a garden party. He's like, didn't know. Didn't know.
Yeah. You wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, look alive. It's the garden party.
Garden party.
And so once a year they had the garden party where people would walk through everybody's yards and they would look at everything.
Jeez,
and it was
that sounds like a nightmare.
All these people lived for was the garden party.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow. Now, we had a yard. When I lived in the country, we had a big yard that you couldn't really see from the street. And we didn't really have any neighbors. But then I moved to into town, and we had a front yard. And our neighbors, I never understood people that were like so particular about their yard. It's a real obsession.
I feel like I just can't hate their wife and their job.
Yeah.
And
that's
like,
the only thing they can.
It's the only thing they can control in their life.
Yeah,
everything else is out of their control.
But some people they mow it diagonally, and it's a real.
Well, when I was growing up, we had like 5 acres.
Yeah,
and me and my brothers would have to mow the lawn, and my dad would come and inspect our work, and make us get back on the lawnmower. And he goes, you've got islands everywhere. He would go, you've got islands everywhere. It's all wrong. He taught us the correct way to go, to cut the yard in half and go do laps around each quadrant and go back and go back and hit all the islands. And I mean, it was but there's something therapeutic about a riding lawnmower.
Oh, I love a riding lawnmower.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get your Walkman on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got fucking Abbey Road cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
American Pie.
Yeah. American Pie.
My was American Pie. You know that song, Don McLean?
Oh, yeah.
That's the best lawn cutting song.
That's a great lawn cutting song.
You could imagine.
Yeah, it's got everything in there: excitement, despair, sorrow. It's got pretty much all of it.
What's the day the music died?
It's a 9-minute song. So
yeah, you put that on repeat, you get that done in 2 songs.
Yeah. So that was Project Quiet Yards in the 1990s.
Quiet Yards.
And they lobbied Greenwich officials to limit the use of noisy lawn tools. Those efforts failed. Instead, the town gave gas-powered leaf blowers an exception to the local noise ordinance establishing hours the tools could be used. When the pandemic forced residents to stay home.
It's always a pandemic. Fuck off, I say.
That's all they could talk about here. They're trapped. Many faced a roaring symphony of leaf blowers during work and school. A new group of fed-up locals organized Quiet Yards Greenwich 2021. Well, even among spacious lots with new neighbors, Wasserman, who's one of the residents, says she can't escape the leaf blowers. She puts earbuds and plays music. When she needs a reprieve, she says, sometimes I play Radiohead.
Oh, good.
Which doesn't seem like it would really quash out a whole lot of the noise.
No, it's a pretty quiet man, to be honest.
Yeah. It's all the notes he doesn't play. I don't really know.
Sometimes I put on Radiohead. Sometimes I put on Mozart.
Yeah, she says...
block out the noise.
Usually it's some pretty angry music, she says.
Radiohead. Radiohead's for pussies.
Well, this is Greenwich,
That's
Connecticut.
true. Yeah, that's pretty.
This is the angriest band they have. Yeah. That's about as crazy as it gets.
Wow.
Making her case for leaf blower restrictions during the recent town meeting, one resident cited a dispute in the 17th century in England known as Alfred's Case. That landmark
Alfred's
case involved... That's when people had one name. That landmark case involved a man who built a pigsty next to his home of his neighbor, William Alfred. Sorry, Aldred. Aldred filed and won a nuisance complaint in court establishing a right for people to enjoy their property that was adopted by the settlers who came to the U.S., said Coven and a trained lawyer. It's a beautiful town. It really is. So we want to enjoy it.
Sure. We can all understand that.
Yeah. And I think of everything going on in the world today. This
is incredibly important.
This is from page one.
I'm glad people...
This is the front page of the Wall Street Journal, by the way.
Well, I'm glad somebody's on the case with this because it is an important story. And now, have these people heard of a rake?
Well, it's Greenwich, Connecticut.
It's a long, big yard, but they pay somebody to do it. And I'm not going to say who they could pay, but we all have an idea. We're all picturing.
We all have an idea, but they've made sure that they can't get into
That's
Greenwich,
true.
Connecticut.
You're right.
So that's really not an option. Yeah.
You're right.
Well, they have
so
leaf
there's really no option. I guess they want people to switch to the electric leaf blower, but that can't be much quieter.
The technology just isn't
It's
there
just
yet.
not
It's
there
too
yet.
expensive,
It's like,
man.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do, but my heart goes out to them.
Yeah.
I hope they can
Speaking.
figure this out.
Yeah. Me too. We're all praying for them.
Yeah.
Just like we're praying for the toy companies.
I'm losing sleep for Hasbro.
Well, speaking of the technology just not being there yet, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
Headline, Instagram serves up toxic video mix. Wall Street Journal test accounts set to follow young gymnast got risque footage of children.
What? Ugh.
Yeah. Instagram's Reels video service. We're all, as we're
Quite
familiar with Reels.
Terribly familiar.
Yeah. Is designed to show users streams of short videos on topics the system decides will interest them, such as sports, fashion, or humor. The Meta platform's owned social media app does the same thing for its users. For users, its algorithm decides might have a prurient interest in children.
Oh, God.
Testing by the Wall Street Journal showed.
Jesus.
The journal.
That's TikTok. That's what we have TikTok
Well, but Reels is a carbon copy of TikTok.
for. Wow. There's no way they're doing kids as good as TikTok's doing kids.
Well, you might be surprised, Joe.
Wow.
The journal sought to determine what Instagram's Reels algorithm would recommend to test accounts set up to follow only young gymnasts, cheerleaders, and other teen and preteen influencers active on the platform. Instagram systems served jarring doses of salacious content to those test accounts, including risque footage of children as well as overtly sexual adult videos. And ads for some of the biggest U.S. brands.
So that's from Starburst.
so they're like, they have all these sexually explicit videos,
right?
But then they're running ads for companies that don't want these videos next to their ads.
Oh, so they're the ones filing the complaints.
Well, the Wall Street Journal did a big test on it, and
they just happened to have a guy looking into it.
Yeah. Well, he
goes, "Oh, I'll take the story."
Yeah. No, he was just using his regular Instagram account, and he goes, "I think I might have a story."
So it turns out, if hypothetically you've selected these interests, it'll show you all this other stuff.
So, let's see.
Wow.
In a stream of videos recommended by Instagram, an ad for the dating app Bumble appeared between a video of someone stroking the face of a life-size latex doll and a video of a young girl with a digitally obscured face lifting up her shirt to expose her midriff. In another, a Pizza Hut commercial followed a video of a man lying on a bed with his arm around a young child.
What?
Yeah, but you can't. But we can't say fuck.
Yeah. Right.
You have to bleep. You have to bleep out fuck.
Yeah, I can't have my gun. I can't show my gun.
Their priorities are all turned around.
Yeah.
The Canadian Center for Child Protection, a child protection group, separately ran similar tests on its own with similar results. Meta said the journal's test produced a manufactured experience that doesn't represent what billions of users see. The company declined to comment on why the algorithms...
Oh, no. That was just something we did. No one sees that.
Yeah. On why the algorithms compiled streams of separate videos showing children's sex and advertisements, but a spokesman said that in October it introduced new brand safety tools that give advertisers greater control over where their ads appear, and that Instagram either removes or reduces the prominence of 4 million videos suspected of violating its standards each month.
Oh, my Lord.
Companies whose ads appeared beside inappropriate content in the journal's tests include Disney, Walmart, Match.com, Hims, which sells erectile dysfunction drugs, and the Wall Street Journal itself.
You think they would maybe omit that one, but and mostly the Wall Street Journal.
Most brand name retailers require that their advertising not run next to sexual or explicit content. Following what it described as Meta's unsatisfactory response to its complaints, Match.com began canceling Meta's advertising for some of its apps, such as Tinder, in October.
Right.
It has since halted all Reels advertising and stopped promoting its major brands on any of Meta's platforms.
Wow.
Quote, "We have no desire to pay Meta to market our brands to predators or place our ads anywhere near this content," said Match spokeswoman Justine Sacco.
The content is just like guys laying in bed with kids.
Well,
and
here's they have a rundown of just something you may see.
I want to know what exactly it is they're talking about.
So, it starts off a 6-second video. Adult content creator uncrosses her legs to reveal her underwear.
Well, that's fine.
6 seconds. The next video, they scroll up.
Mm-hmm.
Next video, a sprinter at a track meet runs over a small boy who steps onto the track.
What?
I don't know what that. I guess he ran into him or something.
Well, that's just
he trampled him.
That's just America's funniest home videos.
Yeah, just kind of an old school.
That's just a blooper.
An old school trampling.
So far, I see nothing wrong.
15-second ad, Disney ad promoting Disneyland's Coco-themed Plaza de Familia.
Well, I don't like that.
7-second, young woman wearing lingerie and a furry tail poses with fake blood dripping from her mouth.
How young?
It doesn't say. 5-second, child in a bathing suit records herself posing in a mirror.
No, that's no good.
4-second, adult content creator gives a come hither motion.
Oh.
8-second, girl twerking in car while song with sexual lyrics plays. So that's I can't do math, but that's just less than a minute.
What they're really saying is all of this together is pretty gross.
Pretty gross, and it's geared. This is not my algorithm. My algorithm is, and I want to stress this. My algorithm.
Mine is race cars, a little bit of pussy, adult, and how to make more money.
No, my algorithm is it's all Joe Rogan.
Yeah, right.
No, it's all like wrestling things.
Right.
Somehow maybe worse.
Mine's a lot of Lego.
Yeah.
A lot of Lego sets.
Well, we're children.
They don't think I've ever... They think I have no interest in
these
sex.
Guys have never seen pussy a day in their life.
Most guys I know have nothing but like chicks and stuff in their algorithm. Mine is all...
Right.
Mine's all Lego sets and maps. I've got nothing but maps and Legos. They don't think I've ever had sex. And they don't even think I have a passive interest
you know what?
in
And
it.
I'd like to keep it that way. Because if this is what I'm getting, I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is like geared, all this because kids will follow this stuff. They like gymnastics and stuff like that. But then it's all geared to sexually exploiting them, and also child predators. They have the same exact algorithm as a 12-year-old. So.
Wow.
So all these companies, they're all up in arms about this. Bumble, they want to pull their advertising. Disney, they're not happy. Match.com, they're not happy. Walmart declined to comment, and Pizza Hut didn't respond to comment.
Pizza Hut said, let the good times roll. That's so funny. Why would you decline to comment? Be that one company that's like...
Yeah. Well, we're going to wait and see.
Hey, it's a messy world, right?
Listen, pedophiles spend money too.
That's why we put the cheese in the crust. Make a little less mess.
I also can't believe Pizza Hut is still in business.
Me neither. But I think it's, I guess there's people in the middle of the country that there's no other options, right? You want a pizza, there's like Domino's or Pizza Hut.
Yeah. Pizza Hut's is like, it's gross.
There's literally not sauce on it. It's bread with cheese and meat.
So anyway, it doesn't look good.
And they like kids.
It's kind of a long article, and it kind of just gets more depressing from there. So,
well, Trent, let me tell you this. Speaking of kids, maybe a little less depressing story about children.
We love to end on a happy note.
Yeah, this is we're gonna bring us out of that terribly dark situation. Now, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah,
cursive comes back.
Hot diggity dog.
Now that kids can't read grandma's letters.
Yeah. I've had that problem.
Many schools wrote off handwriting style. Jesus Christ, let me start over. Many schools wrote off the handwriting style in an era of keyboards.
Is this written in cursive?
But I can't read cursive. I can't read. It's crazy. We do this podcast every week, and as the weeks go on, it's harder for me to read. You think I get better? I'm getting worse. Yeah. So this is from Compton, California.
Oh, Compton, California. I've heard of.
Yeah, it's famous for its cursive. Yeah, so this is straight out of Compton. In a classroom at Anderson Elementary on a recent Thursday, third graders lined up to have their pencils sharpened to a crisp point.
Sure.
Before beginning a cursive lesson, the students put graphite to paper, copying sample sentences like, "Do you want to jump in this pile of leaves?" Maybe in Greenwich, Connecticut. Music played lightly in the background of an otherwise pin-drop silent room. Teacher Bertha Robles said she hears chatter during other independent lessons like math, but focus reigns during cursive.
It is a skill that requires focus.
Well, it's very therapeutic, too. They're very into it, she said. It's something new to them. The scene is set to play out across California when a new law goes into effect in January, mandating cursive instruction for all elementary school children in the state. The words, quote, the words look more cooler than normal words, Anderson Elementary third grader Nathan Walters said while practicing the looping script.
Sure.
Nathan's...
Wait till he hears about bubble letters. The coolest...
Wait till he hears about Instagram Reels. Nathan's favorite letters to write in capitals are A, D, and Z. More than a decade after Minnie wrote the obituary for the handwriting style because of widely adopted Common Core curriculum standards that made no mention of it, cursive is making a comeback, baby. Quirk Silva and other proponents, that's somebody who's a proponent of this, other proponents say learning cursive ensures students can read historical documents like the U.S. Constitution.
Like we all sit around and do every night.
Yeah, because when I want to read the U.S. Constitution, I look at the cursive version of it. I look at the JPEG of it online. And letters from relatives. Occupational therapists argue it helps strengthen fine motor skills and aids comprehension for those with dyslexia.
Oh, that's interesting.
And get this, as artificial intelligence becomes more popular, some see cursive and handwriting in general as a way to help authenticate student work.
Oh, that's
pretty interesting.
Wow, now I changed my tune. I was kind of anti-cursive. I thought it was gone the way of Latin.
I think it's the best thing that's ever happened in this country.
That might be the best thing. I might have to because I was on like the tail end We learned
Yeah.
cursive in 5th grade, and then I never wrote in cursive ever again.
They said throw the pencils out, throw it all out.
Throw it all out. Yeah.
Never wrote in it again.
Yeah.
But now you're going to have to be writing essays instead of
That's
typing them in
great.
and printing them off. Sit down there, write them all in cursive.
Yeah.
You know, of course, you have your phone right next to with
Sure.
ChatGPT telling you word for word what to write.
You just have to copy it. Right?
You just have to copy it, but
sure,
then, you know,
sure.
that's an exercise as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing I never this has sold me on it because the previous things of like why you should learn cursive, it was all how are you going to read historic documents, a thing nobody has ever done.
Yeah.
Unless you're a historian.
Not even our
unless you're
legislators.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I mean, our congressmen aren't even reading.
Yeah,
it. They don't even know the Constitution.
They don't know the Constitution.
Why should
But they also, the other thing was how the kids know how to sign their name when they
talk about that.
But it's like nobody has ever checked my signature.
Oh wow, yeah,
I've signed for things.
Mine's a scratch.
There's
It's like
no possible way they
zigzag.
could even read my signature.
No.
and nothing as bad has ever happened.
no, not at all. While some states have resisted the handwriting wave, in Indiana,
Sure.
of course, State Senator Gene Leising has put a
Asshole.
cursive bill forward. Well, no, this one's trying to get it done. Has put a cursive bill forward each year for a dozen years, only to have it killed by the Indiana House Education Committee. Quote, if kids can't be taught cursive, they're not going to have a signature, he said. Over the years, people have shared horror stories of cursive illiterate generation with her, including a land appraiser who had to fire a young man because he couldn't go to the courthouse and read old transfer documents, and a family whose 15-year-old son couldn't sign his name at the passport counter. How do you not sign your name? I mean, it doesn't have to be cursed. Just write your name.
Yeah, it sounds like he has other problems.
It sounds like he has other problems for sure.
Yeah, but nobody checks. Every day I sign my name differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mine's
it's
a
meaningless.
scribble. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the 19th. Nobody's comparing checks.
Right, holding them up.
Yeah.
J. Edgar Hoover.
That's not like Trent.
This is, you know what though? One time I tried to forge. Have you ever forged a signature?
Yeah, on our lease.
Oh yeah, mine. Yeah. Well, I mean, I forged my mom's signature on because I get detentions all the time in middle school.
You were kind of a bad boy.
I was a bad boy. I was
got
ornery.
coal for Christmas.
I was ornery. I would talk back to teachers. I got
Wow.
detentions, and your parents had to sign for them.
Sure.
And I could not bring this one home to my mom. It would send her over the edge.
Yeah.
So I forged my mom's signature. I looked at other things and I tried to forge her signature, and my teacher called me on it. She compared it to other things my mom had signed,
wow.
and she goes, "Your mom didn't sign this." And I go, "Yeah, she did." And then she goes, "Look at this. This is not."
And you go, she was having an off day.
I said, "She's having an off day."
She had to go in to her job twice this week. So she's kind of been through it.
Yeah, sorry she's not focused on her signature. And she goes, all right, well, I'll just call your mom to double check that she's done. I go, wait! She's busy. She's back in the office today. Don't call her. She'll freak out.
Yeah.
Oh, but I got busted. So
And
bad.
that's when you got coal for Christmas.
They gave me spankings.
Wow,
Trent.
I can't see you being a bad boy. You're such a charming young man now. I'm glad you're out of it.
Well, they didn't know if I was going to pull through, if I was going to be out of it. I was like the bully's like henchman, just so that he wouldn't bully me.
Yeah.
He would like make fun of somebody, and I'd just repeat what he said. I'd be like, "Yeah,
Yeah, like the Christmas story.
yeah." It was like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
that good. Yeah, and you do that role for safety, so that you don't get bullied,
Sure.
because they're always small. If you look at those guys, they're always
That's true.
they can't
The
protect
henchman, yeah.
themselves. Oh wait, one last little note. Quicksilva, the California Assemblywoman, Quicksilver.
I hope. Silver.
Yeah, I hope. Keeps a box of handwritten notes from constituents thanking her for promoting cursive. In online polls her office posted seeking opinions on the bill, she estimated 9 out of 10 people said it was great and the cursive never should have gone away. The others said a variation on the theme of, "You're just an old boomer." There's no reason for this.
Ugh, fuck off. It's such a lame insult.
Well, there goes the podcast.
59.
59. Yeah, that's where it was. Be a detention slip for that one. I'm going to need my mom's signature on that bad boy.
Well, this is from the Wall Street Journal, the personal journal section of the Wall Street Journal.
Close to our friend at the mansion section.
Yes. This says dating apps get competition. Singles are meeting people in unusual places online, including on Yelp, Strava, and Duolingo.
Duolingo?
Yeah, I don't know. On the internet, every app can be a dating app. Thank God.
It says thank God.
No, I said that. But just ask Strava user Courtney Hollingsworth.
Now, what is Strava?
It's an exercise tracking app. She's long used Strava to log her runs and workouts and leave kudos and comments for fellow athletes.
Now she's logging dick pics like never before.
2 years ago, she also used it to let a fellow runner know she was single and interested.
Ooh, damn, I'm getting on Strava.
Yeah.
To start running, though.
Well, you can probably lie.
I can lie.
Wouldn't be the first time someone's lied on a dating app.
It'll be the first time I've lied.
Countless dating apps promise to connect you with a soulmate or a fling.
It is funny that they're like, find your soulmate or hookup. Yeah. Listen, we don't know what you're going to find out there.
But some intrepid daters scout for romance on other sites, from language learning platform Duolingo.
That's crazy.
To film review hub Letterboxd. Striking up a conversation on a service where you know someone shares your interests can feel more natural than sifting through dating apps, former dating service users say.
Sliding in the DMs on Duolingo.
Yeah.
¿Cómo está, señorita?
¿Qué pasa? Quote, I was always so hesitant to do traditional dating apps, Hollingworth said. It's such a wide net. And why would you cast a wide net?
Why would you cast a wide net when you can get on Duolingo and say, vous voulez coucher avec moi?
Ce soir.
Ce soir. What's that part mean?
I don't know. I don't know what any of it means.
It says, would you like to go to bed with me?
Oh, really? That's what that means?
Yeah, it's exactly what we're talking about. Would you like to go to bed with me?
Wow. I should not have been listening to that as a young boy.
No. Should have been on Instagram.
Yeah, should have been on Instagram, liking young gymnast fiction. Yeah, Hollingsworth was 29 years old and working for Pinterest in San Francisco when she met Peter Kreiswaz at a group release in May 2021.
Sounds like someone you meet on fucking Pinterest.
They followed each other on Strava that fall. She started dropping him hints on the app in one post comparing a tough workout to the Bay Area dating scene.
Oh my God.
Kreiswaz was then 27 and living in Chicago, commented on her post and gave her daily kudos. Quote, it was just really easy for us to keep up with each other, he says. The two met up at another race and afterwards started texting more and video chatting and having cyber sex. By late spring of 2022, they were officially a couple and now live in San Francisco. She got a job at Strava.
What? It's just an ad for Strava.
Yeah. And they still use the app to flirt with each other.
These are just weirdos who just into Strava. And they met their spouse on Strava.
Well, there's more.
And now they work for Strava.
Yeah. And they want to get the word out about Strava.
Yeah.
And I guess we're helping them.
It's like, yeah. There's people.
As with anywhere else, unsolicited outreach on an app that isn't intended for romance can be creepy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but sometimes it can result in a love match. So, take your chance.
So take your chance.
Gabe Vordick, a 22-year-old software developer in Madison, Wisconsin.
He's a software developer. His name is Vordick. It sounds like a like a software for.
That sounds like a dating app.
Yeah, Vordick.
Yeah. He stayed away from dating apps, however, mostly trying his luck by meeting people through friends or at parties and bars. Because he spends a lot of his free time cycling, hiking, or running, he is an active Strava user. In 2023, it suggested Vortic connect with an acquaintance he had met his freshman year of college. Vortic saw that she frequently went ice skating, so he sent her a message saying that he was leaving Boston upon graduation and would love to learn how to skate. They ended up dating for about 6 months. So I don't know if that qualifies to make this in this article.
6 months.
6 months. Yeah. Kind of a fling. Also, I couldn't imagine. Maybe this is where I am at fault. But I couldn't imagine seeing somebody ice skating and then be like, DMing them and be like, gee, Willikers, I would really love to know how to ice skate.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn to know how to ice skate.
Yeah, that's the worst pickup line of all time.
It's...
Gee, miss, and perhaps we could have a snowball fight afterwards. Or perhaps a snow cone.
Or perhaps maybe some hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. I would love to date you for 6 months.
Yeah. He shouldn't be in.
This seems like a fluff piece for Strava.
But they get into Rob Cisleski and Amanda Lopez met during more cerebral workouts.
Oh.
Both downloaded Duolingo to learn new languages. Cisleski, a 43-year-old event manager who lives in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, our fine nation, was learning Spanish.
Right there, baby. Right there.
Lopez, a 38-year-old writer who lives in the Philippines, was working on Mandarin. Duolingo users...
The language or the orange?
Duolingo users can connect with friends from Facebook or contacts. They can also follow people who appear on the app's leaderboard. In 2021, Cisleski followed Lopez after she appeared in the top ranks and began congratulating her for her daily achievements.
Wait, so you can only slide into the DMs of somebody who's like the number one person learning
Well,
language?
I don't know.
They have to be on the leaderboard for you to see them.
Well, I don't know if you can only message people, but you want to go for the top brass.
Listen, if you want to get laid on Duolingo, you got to do the work. You got to be the
fucking game up.
You got to be the best Spanish
But
speaker there is.
You don't want to go for some moron who's at the bottom of the lake, barely knows hola.
The whole point of learning a second language is to get laid, so then now you know another language, and it's so easy to get laid if you know another language.
Sure.
You don't meet somebody on the stupid app to learn the language. You go to Spain and then fuck people in Spain. It's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing Duolingo to then go to France and blow people.
Right. Or you move to Sunnyside and you could try to flirt with the local cashier. Your favorite.
That's true.
Your favorite
Or you could stay in Queens. You could
sandwich
stay in
shop.
Queens.
Yeah.
You could just learn to talk to people in Queens.
I went
help.
to that ice cream place. Oh, Maron. That was
Really?
beautiful.
Go on. Maybe she's a fan of the show. Maybe she watches the pod.
I gave her our card.
You gave her our card?
No.
It's a picture of the man.
Curious about the cheerful stranger, Lopez looked him up on Facebook. The two began messaging each other, which soon turned into video chatting 20 to 25 hours a week. A whole day.
25 hours a week video chatting?
Yeah.
I don't want to video chat anybody for any period of time.
No.
Fuck video chat. It stinks.
Yeah, I agree. The two would remotely watch movies on the weekends together
fuck off.
and send love poems over email.
Ugh. These people deserve each
Yeah,
other.
they sound insufferable. In June 2022, Cisleski flew out to meet her in the Philippines, and they got married the next month.
And she got her green card.
Once Lopez's, well, not yet. Once Lopez's visa is approved, she will move to Washington to live with her husband. Soon, people will meet on every single app that exists, Cisleski says, on Uber Eats or whatever.
Uber Eats.
It's just bound to happen.
Uber
I don't
Eats?
know if this guy, I don't know if this guy's ever used Uber Eats.
I don't think so.
Maybe the Uber driver.
Yeah.
Have you ever had most of that? One time I had a hot lady Uber Eats delivery person. Normally it's all men.
It's always men, I guess.
Yeah.
You had a hot lady.
I had a hot lady. She delivered Thai food to this very door.
Did you invite her in?
I didn't brush up on my Duolingo.
Oh, wow.
It was a communication barrier.
It is crazy when you see a hot lady delivering food. You're like, how'd you get to this place? You're so hot. You think you wouldn't have to do this.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
some people like a little cash on the side.
Well, side cash. Well,
I offered her
there's
some,
there's a different app for hot ladies.
I offered
for
her
that.
some extra cash.
It's called OnlyFans.
A shared interest in food brought Terry Russell and Mel Cheong together in 2012. The divorced parents, both based in Las Vegas, met through Yelp.
That's the craziest.
Becoming Yelp friends after Cheong thanked Russell for a macaron bakery review she posted.
Fuck off.
The two soon discovered they were visiting the same places at different times.
That's creepy.
Gyms, restaurants. I think one of them was probably following the other.
Yeah,
Gyms, restaurants, even locations in Southern
California.
California.
You're going to all the same places I am. Yeah.
Yeah. What are the odds?
What are the odds?
They messaged about running shoes after a mutual Yelp friend posted about a race. Eventually, they met up at a restaurant, naturally. They formed a friend group with fellow Yelp members who joked constantly about the two of them dating. But it wasn't until Mother's Day 2013 when Cheong gave Russell a heartfelt card that things went beyond friendship. They tied the knot in 2018.
For a card.
For Mother's Day. Maybe we're wrong.
None of this falls in line with any story I've ever heard about anybody coming together and dating.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
I think all these people are very weird.
Yeah.
And they're all these people who are into these apps. Mm-hmm. And of course they're finding other people because they're like a huge Yelp. If you're a big Yelp guy, you probably want to find somebody doing Yelp.
Anybody that uses Yelp regularly,
I
is
don't
a
want to. I want to have nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
It just
stinks. They get
despicable.
pleasure out of deriding small business owners.
Yeah. Sorry, we're doing the best we can.
Right. How about you do something?
Oh, the glass. The water didn't have ice in it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying my fucking best here. I took out a loan. And
everybody's a fucking critic.
I'm underwater. and you're sitting on your fat fucking ass. Telling me what I should do wrong, what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, no, you're telling me
off.
my business sucks, cock, and you're meeting your girlfriend here. You've been on your gay little app. Yeah. Sorry, lame little app.
111.
111.
Oh, no. Really? Pushing it today.
Oh, yeah.
I lost my... I never thought it was a resource for finding love, she said. Of the review platform. Her husband, age 48, cautions against looking for love on Yelp.
Yeah,
He's having second thoughts.
He goes, maybe let's not.
Don't count your chickens just yet.
Yeah.
In the middle of the COVID-19 lockdown in Melbourne, Australia,
I knew it would creep into this.
Digby. Now, this is the most Australian name you could possibly. Digby Houghton. Then 23 logged onto Letterboxd. Now you know Letterboxd, the film review app. We need to review everything.
yeah, you're right. We need to register our
everybody needs to know
opinions.
Everybody's single opinion on every possible subject.
Yeah,
it will bring the world together.
I'm a guy with no formal education about food or movies. Let me register my opinion publicly to the world.
The objective. Posting his review of a decades-old Taiwanese drama called Rebels of the Neon God. We're all familiar. Almost 4,000 miles away in Malaysia, Megan
What?
NG, I don't know. I think that's... Or Win.
Yeah, I think it's Win.
I don't know.
Ewan?
You would think I would know. But the review...
You really would.
Houghton, a freelance film critic, checked out...
I know who you meet on social media.
Her own review of the 1996 indie comedy The Day Trippers caught his eye as he followed her on Letterboxd and Twitter, formerly known... Or X.
Don't do it.
Formerly known as Twitter. He noticed the then 20-year-old student listed her location as living in Malaysia and Melbourne. But because of Australia's pandemic travel restrictions, Nguyen couldn't get back to Melbourne. The two struck up a casual online friendship in February 2021, and Houghton decided to give her a call. Next, they were regularly having virtual movie hangs. Sounds like a nightmare. Streaming films online with a video chat window open. Nguyen moved back to Australia in January 2020. The two met up and quickly made their relationship official. Neither finds it particularly odd that Letterboxd was their matchmaker. Quote, "It's just the world we live in now," Houghton said. "We're so connected in seemingly uncommon ways."
Oh, isn't that so heartwarming? Why don't you tell that to Disney and all those groups that are complaining about Instagram and Meta? It's like, sorry, we just live in a connected world now.
We're connected. We want everybody to be connected.
Yeah, regardless of who you're into.
Film lovers, cinephiles, or pedophiles. Everybody should be connected. Everybody should have a community.
A chance. They'll find an app. They'll find one of these apps. It's got to work.
It may be on... it may be on the Apple App Store or Google Play, or maybe on the dark web. We can't determine that, and we shouldn't be determining
Maybe on
that.
Fortnite, the app. Maybe on Duolingo.
Yeah.
But there, you can find your special someone. Whoever you're looking for, you'll find them.
Yeah, there's somebody for everybody, and
And that's our show.
What we want you to take away from this episode of the podcast. That's the show. As always, so don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff, and tell your friends. Always,
tell your family.
This is Trent Mabry signing off.
And this is Joe Nunnick signing out.
Bye-bye.